key influences of my work. And what comes out naturally are relationships between women and relationships between men and women and relationships between women and the world. The whole idea of wearing makeup, your skirt had to be a certain length, or that you needed to wear gloves in the 50s, or these rules that people had for women, the imprint, what you're supposed to be like, how you're supposed to act. When I would draw it and see it in front of me, it made me feel better about who I was in the world. Living in New York was exciting, is exciting, it's always been exciting. There's an energy field here that I feel in me that's exciting. And so I bring that into my work, and my work brings it out when I go out. I've never really had a separation between my life and my work. Because I didn't have a job, how society saw me as a woman was very different than how they saw a secretary or somebody, a nurse, a teacher, or somebody who was married. And so I never really fit in. I was working, but it was how I was working that society couldn't quite understand. One of the things that I used to like to do is that if somebody came over to my house, I would like to do a project together or do something. It was inspiring. All my friends were artists, and it was inspiring to go to their studios and see what they were doing. My influences in my work came from my sketchbooks. When I sat down and did a drawing just for myself, it would just be free-flowing. When I did a job for a magazine, it would be very structured. It would be working with the script, sketches, an art director, an editor. I had all these people to satisfy. I worked for Glamour magazine. I worked for Time magazine, Rolling Stone, Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, Red Book. This is Stargirl banded with Blue Wave. It's done in 1966. It's a silkscreen done for a shop called Scarabaeus, commissioned by George Bailarian, and my idea here was to have a strong woman looking at you directly, and I wanted to put the woman on a more of a pedestal, and just the whole idea of like being powerful and being part of the universe, and the border is just as important to me as the woman. So she is part of the world of the piece, not just a single person. And I love the colors. I did it in a black line and then gave it to a silkscreen person, the artwork, and told them what colors went where with color chips, and that's how they got the color. So I already knew what I wanted for the color, and I wanted her white inside, so she wasn't any color. She was all color, and she could be anybody. In the early 70s, I created a series called WomanGirls. Whether you were 50, 60, 70, people called you a girl. It was sort of thinking about women and the hard work that they are doing all the time to kind of make themselves present. My first show with the WomanGirl series was around 1972. Was at the Corridor Gallery on Prince Street when Soho was just bubbling and just coming up, and we put the posters up all over and people took them down. Whether they took them down because they liked them or they took them down because it was something that they didn't want people to see, I don't know that. I couldn't use it in an illustration, and I did do an illustration about censorship for the New York Times Magazine on an article by Anthony Burgess, and it was all about censorship, and I did my WomanGirl, and I crossed out the breasts and I crossed out the vagina hairs, and that was it. People thought that somebody actually censored my work. One day I was sitting at my drawing table and I get a call from Rolling Stone. The art director said, "Barbara, we want a portrait of John Lennon. I like your simple style." And it was 8 years after John Lennon was assassinated. The line quality is what they wanted. So he said, one caveat, Yoko Ono has to approve it. What I decided to do, and thinking about John Lennon, he got killed in a violent manner. He's now in the cosmos. So I took blue for the sky and red for the violence and merged them together to purple, left the whole side of this, his head open because he was no longer here, made him older, and she loved it. Computers weren't even around. There were no computers at all. I would think about computers as something that a big corporation has, like IBM or something, to pay your bills or to automate something, but not in terms of art. I started doing these very, very simple heads because I wanted to understand I had a line, a dot, an arc, a rectangle, a circle. I had 6 modes to work in and 6 colors. That's all I had to work with. So very simple shapes. And when I did the polygons, I thought, oh, that looks like the Statue of Liberty. I can then do that and make that more interesting in terms of a picture. So what I was doing was investigating what the computer could actually do, and that's how the Ode to the Statue of Liberty came about. The flag series started with my thinking about migration, immigration, integration, and population growth, and how people, when they look at, when they think about a people of different countries, they have a preconceived idea on what they're thinking about. When you see a flag, you just say, oh, Americans, and you think whatever you think about them. And then when you walk up to the flag, the flag disappears, and you get to see the drawings, and you get to see that people are doing everyday life things. I just wanted to break the whole preconception of what people think and express that. I love the V&A. They were the first ones to take in the early computer art, the collections of early computer art. V&A embraces all these different aspects of art and design and culture, really.